Buttervision. Hola, señores y señoritas. ¿Cómo está usted? Step right up for a little unsportsmanlike conduct. The show with a bunch of handsome men's arguing about sports. On today's episode, David Goodman, Keith Caggiano, Danny Fairman, and Kamau Talbot. And now, here's your host. He'll gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today, J.D. Butter!
We back. It's your man, Jizzle, Dizzle, Bizzle, in the place to blizzle in 20 Twizzle. With another episode of Unsportsmanlike Conduct. And we got a real interesting one today, ladies and germs. I'm going to announce it before we even get these cats in the room. The category today that we're going to be debating, greatest what if question. So this is real, can go all sorts of places with it. So I'll go into a little bit more detail once we get these clowns in the room. Let's get the commission up and ready for action. Starting off with my man, the number 2 guy in the point standings right now, or the number 3, actually. I'm number 2. Number 3, father of 2, fast car driving, my man, Mr. Danny Fairman in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get him in here and give him Danny Garcia Para. Ladies and gentlemen, I can give all sorts of love to that jersey, my man.
Hey, bada.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Remember let's highlight a great Dodger moment when Garcia Para, or as they say in Boston, Garcia Para.
Noma.
Yeah, Noma. Would hit when the Dodgers hit those 4 home runs to win the game a few years back
against San Diego.
Yeah, dude.
I was there.
Oh, see, I know how it is. So now, Danny, real quick, how you feeling about your place in the point standings right now? It's real close, neck and neck. You're in number 3 right now, but it's.
I feel strong. I feel like I've brought it. I've left everything in the Zoom room.
That's you have.
Prepped.
That's you have. All right. Well, let's get some of these other characters in here. Next up, let's see who we got. Oh, my smack talking, loving homeboy, rap artist, chef, smack talker, Renaissance man, club promoter. He does it all. Used to have a red afro, my man, Mr. Kamau Talbot in the house. Let's get him in here. There he is. Oh, look at this. Little sideways action. There it is.
I don't know what it was doing.
So, real quick, Kamau, I was just talking to my man Fairman about the point standings right now. Looking kind of.
Oh yeah, we don't have any points, but it's all right.
You got to get some.
It's all right. My people get them on the second half of the season. Don't worry about it.
All right. You got to get back in this race, homie. So let's.
Not worried about it. We gonna grab you.
So let's bring in our next panelist, the Doctor of General Knowledge, and he's also known as one of the main cut-ups on this program, along with our man Danny Fairman. Let's get him in here, Mr. David Goodman in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give him some dap. It's David Goodman in the background.
Sorry, I'm here, and guys, I just want you to know It's a very serious topic for me today. As you can see, I have my serious picture. I have my serious hat. I have a very serious microphone.
Yeah.
Right? You guys always think it's always about comedy for me, and this is gonna be a very serious topic to me. If I was wanting to be funny, I would be like, what if Bill and Ted did another movie? I mean, the dumbest thing ever, and it never happened, right? That would never happen, right? They don't. Well, this episode brought to you by Bill and Ted Face the Music.
All right. Well, if someone had asked me what if they would ever make another Bill and Ted's, I would say absolutely not, and maybe they shouldn't.
That's the truth,
let's get
baby.
our fifth and final panelist in here. He is one of our main regulars out of Grand Island, New York. Mr. Entrepreneur's Entrepreneur, Mr. Rockin' Products. Let's get him in here. Mr. Keith Caggiano in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give him some love.
Oh, yeah.
Right, there he is. Yeah, all right. I see some jersey going on there, like an official football jersey. Do we want to
some official NFL jerseys going on in here?
Do we want to reveal now, or is it part of your stuff?
We'll keep the reveal for a second.
Okay, all right. Well, let's get into this topic, because I mentioned it actually before I even brought anyone in, because it's such an interesting topic that can go so many different directions. The topic is best what if, okay? And again, for you guys watching at home, it could be anything. It could be a career-ending injury. It could be a missed field goal. It could be anything. And these cats are going to be making the argument about why their what if is the most impactful, compelling what if, all right? So let's get this started right off the bat. Let's start it with Mr. K. Millie, Mr. Talbot, and see what he's talking about. All right. Oh, let me get the clock set up. 2 minutes. All right. You ready, Kamau? Let's do it.
Ooh.
Hi, my name is K. Millie. And my what if today is if Mr. Colin Kaepernick would not have kneeled.
Ooh.
So the overarching historical implications of this situation might have been that maybe the Black Lives Movement that we have currently right now would not be actually making some sort of arrests or the consciousness of the world currently right now to the plights of minorities and underrepresented people and things of that nature might not have been getting the actual look that we're getting currently right now. What does that mean for Mr. Colin Kaepernick if he would not have kneeled? Probably he would have gotten dropped from the 49ers because he wasn't really that great of a quarterback at the time. And I really believe that, there was other implications and somebody kind of told him about this and this was kind of like his out, but it helped the greater cause later on down the line. But I think if he wouldn't have kneeled, he would have basically just gone down as a quarterback that nobody really would have, thought much of. But since he did, we have what we have right now. That's my thing.
Well, David came in here talking about a very special, serious episode of Unsportsmanlike Conduct. I can't be mad. I would go a step farther to say, he'd go from marginal kind of last few years of his career quarterback. He's gone now to kind of a heroic status, certainly in the Black community and for, activists in general. He's like burgeoned his reputation in a way much larger than it probably would have been. So not bad, K. Mills.
Indeed.
Yeah. All right. I like what you're talking about. Let's see what Mr. Fairman has to say. And now, like the last time we saw Danny Fairman on the Best Hair episode, oh my gosh. Wow. I don't even know if you can even live up to that now.
I know. How he's going to top that?
You got.
It's going to be interesting.
All right. So, we're ready for you.
All right. Let me know when you start the clock.
I'm starting it now.
You on the clock, buddy.
All right. Yeah. So they say that a fighter's peak boxer, their peak years are between the ages of 25 and 28 years old. So in 1967, a young man by the name of Muhammad Ali, at the age of 25, was he was actually stripped of his title. And, everybody said that, leading up to 67, Angelo Dundee was quoted saying, "It's the fastest man he's ever seen." Not boxer, not, look at him. Look at this guy. This is a heavyweight we're watching. This is crazy. Like, no one was ever faster, right? So in 1966, before his suspension, Ali fought 5 times. And he fought like an average of 5 or 6 times every year. And in 1970, he came back and he was reinstated and he fought 2 fights in 1970. And then he fought another 5 fights in 71. So the point of that argument is let's say he averaged 4 or 5 fights per year in 1967, 1968, and 1969. So in the missing 3 years in his prime, Ali still had 19 career title defenses. 19. The record's held by Joe Louis at 26. 7 more, right? So if you do the math, Ali probably would have been upwards, in the north end of over 30 title defenses. That is crazy. Crazy. But he gave up the prime of his life for a bigger cause, right? There's all kinds of impacts that I think this decision had on the world, culturally, individually.
5 seconds.
Pertaining to the sport. But the last thing I'll say is, if he did not, would Frazier, Ken Norton, George Foreman, would they be who they are now? Or would they just be on the list of all these victims?
Wow. All right. Wow. I can't, again, I said in the previous episode that these debates that we're having are getting tougher and tougher to rebut because the commission is just coming with such strong arguments. I will say this. We do know Danny Fairman is a cheater, though, and always picks things that are almost like unassailable. Like, like in the best moment that just happened, he picked, like, how can you pick against a Whitney Houston national anthem? It's like, how can you argue against that? But I still can't be mad. Good argument and a good point about Ali, the title defense argument. Very solid.
And he beat Joe Louis's. No, for real.
Yeah.
At least I didn't go Rocky Marciano.
Right. No Rocky Marciano.
Yeah. So let's see what Mr. Goodman is talking about. Let's see if he can keep it serious, keep it in the guardrails for once in his life.
Be afraid.
Let me start the clock, Mr.
Before you start the clock, ladies and gentlemen,
yes.
Put your tray tables up. Put your seats up, please. Turn off all electronic equipment and get ready for takeoff. Thank you.
Can I start the clock now?
Yes, go ahead.
Wait till they get a load of me.
Oh,
gentlemen.
His boyfriend, Drew Brees, again.
I trust me, I'm not picking him because I love him so much. It's just listen, and here we go.
Okay.
What if Drew Brees passed his physical and signed with the Dolphins, not the Saints? In 2006, Brees, a free agent, met with the Saints and the Dolphins. Miami coach Nick Saban defied the advice of team doctors and convinced the QB to sign with him. Even though the Dolphins went 8-8 in Brees' first season, Saban knew he had something special that year. Alabama came knocking, and Saban said, "I'm not going to be the Alabama coach." Alabama moved on to Louisville's Bobby Petrino, who proceeded to get into a motorcycle wreck with his mistress and lie about it. He's immediately fired an Alabama.
Why?
Before losing to the Giants in the Super Bowl on a crazy catch. In 2009, Brees and Miami get their first Super Bowl win in 15 years. And football's greatest rivalry was born. Pats versus Finns, Belichick versus Saban, Brady versus Brees. The Dolphins win back-to-back titles. Twice in 10 years. The Patriots, well, they're shut out. After Brees chose Miami, the Saints compounded their QB woes by trading a second-round pick for Dante Culpepper. In his first season, he only plays 4 games, and the Saints lose. Worst for the Saints, owner Tom Benson's following through on his trip to up and move the team to San Antonio. There was consolation for Bayou State football fans, LSU beat Alabama in 10 straight seasons, won 10 straight SEC West titles, and earned 4 national titles to establish Les Miles as arguably the greatest college coach of all time. And an ironic twist, Brees and LeBron James created an incredible bond going on for 10 years now since the decision, as the Heat won 7 consecutive championships. You know. Oh, by the way, this all could have been different if in 2005, Aaron Rodgers.
I don't even know what the point was.
I am dumbfounded again.
Oh my God.
A lot of information there in 2 minutes.
Was this
a lot of information?
A lot to process.
Let me see if I understand what just happened here.
Right.
This cat, recorded a package at his home. In his home studio, he went and got the equipment to record a package. I'm just like the silence there was so it could really sink in what we just saw. Okay, I asked the question if Dave Goodman was going to be serious and within the guardrails. We now know that's never going to happen.
It was serious. That was serious.
Hey, he has
folks.
to raise the bar every single time. You know,
if Drew Brees makes that change, 3 different sports are changed. 3 different sports.
Wow.
LeBron never goes on to win those championships. I got it.
Yeah.
It's all Drew Brees' fault.
Keith.
It's all Drew Brees' fault.
Keith, just go.
How's he gonna follow that?
That cosmic chain of events that just happened. But I got to tell you something right now. The good news is I actually am coming with a little bit to argue with too, because they brought up how can you be the Whitney Houston thing. I'm here to diss that too. And if you're talking about the greatest rivalry of the AFC East versus the Dolphins,
It's frozen.
Oh! The Zoom gods have spoken, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my gosh!
Wow, they just cut him out,
That's
huh?
so good.
Hey, Teddy Riley must be in his house.
That is so good. That is so good.
And you know what's great? He doesn't even know.
He's talking.
He's still going. He's still going.
Right.
Hey, but is it recording him? Is it recording him? And we just are frozen?
And he's like, and that's why I'll never hear it again.
Until we get Mr. Caggiano back.
Oh, man.
He's going to start moving again. And he's going
to Hey, JD, I'm going to be happy when we can actually be in the studio together, have some nice microphones, sit across from one another, have a little screen on the back, so we don't have to worry about these weird Zoom intricacies.
Yeah. All right. Well, in the meantime,
we might have to switch the house party, man. I don't know.
Yeah, we have to. We're gonna have to see how deft Keith is to get back in the room. But in the meantime, let me start my 2 minutes.
Fast man.
Let's go.
Let me tell you my story, man.
My what if is what if a gentleman by the name of Gunther Parsh's father had not inseminated his wife with his dirty devil seed and created Gunther Parsh. Do you see where I'm going with this? Let me hit you with some numbers. Between 1991 and 1993, a precocious Yugoslavian youngster by the name of Monica Seles had a record of 159-12, including 55-1. I'm admitting Keith back in 55-1 in Grand Slam tournaments. 55-1. The other Grand Slam she didn't win in those 2 years because she won 6 of 8. One Wimbledon she lost to Steffi Graf. One Wimbledon she was injured. Her career win percentage at that point was well over 90%, which is higher than any of the classic champions like Steffi Graf and Serena Williams. She then got stabbed, lost 2.5 years of her career. I did some math, okay? I looked at every Grand Slam outcome during the time that she was injured and then going forward. So if we assume that she was only 19 when she got stabbed, if we assume she went forward at the kind of pace that she was playing at that point and continue to improve, because tennis players peak later than 19, I have her winning 4 more Australian Opens where she was dominant. She had won the last 3 in a row. 4 more French Opens where she was also dominant. She had won the last 3 in a row. 2 more Wimbledon. She never won Wimbledon, actually. Grass was kind of her weak suit. And 4 more U.S. Opens. Again, she was dominant on hard courts. That would have given her 23 Grand Slams. That would have, some of those that she won would have cost Steffi Graf 6 Grand Slam titles, leaving her with 16. So we'd be talking about Monica Seles with 23 Grand Slams and Serena Williams with 23 Grand Slams as the 2 greatest female tennis players ever. Gunther Parsh, his father shooting his dirty seed into his mom's VJJ, cost tennis that. Boom. That's my 2 minutes.
Oh, so Gunther is the person that stabbed her.
Stabbed her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I was completely lost.
Yeah.
You had me over here painting with numbers.
All right. So let's do a little sum up here.
That's a good subject, dude.
That was a good one.
I like that.
Yeah. I mean, it
I
literally
like everybody
cost
went outside
her
the box. That's
multiple Grand Slams. So Danny, let's go around the horn.
Keith.
Danny again cheating. Danny's what if Muhammad Ali had not had to retire for those 3 years from 67 to 70. Look at David Goodman having my back.
You just noticed that?
Yeah, I just noticed.
He wasn't paying attention, Dave.
When I'm on TV, I'm looking at me. Goodman, we had, if Drew Brees had signed with Miami Dolphins and some convoluted, crazy stuff. Now Caggiano, you're back.
Back.
All right,
what happened now?
Yeah, let's see. Let's
do it.
Let's start your 2 minutes all over. Boom.
Right. We're back to if Norwood would have made that kick.
That's where we're going with this.
If it would have been laces out Finkel, if he would have made that kick, the Bills win the first of their 4 appearances. Would they have been a dynasty? Truth is the rest of those teams, that Redskins team that next year it was an insane team that nobody even gives credit for, that came from nowhere, went away. That Dallas Cowboy team was really a good team. So as much as you want to diss on the Bills, those teams are really good. That Giants win, that was winnable. Belichick and Parcells coached a really good game, but Norwood should have made the kick. So the Bills, would they have been a dynasty? You had the, Jim Kelly, a 1983 quarterback up there with Marino. Again, like I mentioned, that was the Manning-Brady rivalry before Brady Manning. It was the Golden Arm versus the Field General. Amazing to watch and appreciate. So would they have been a dynasty? Could they have won? I say they could have won. They could have beat the Giants. They might have lost to the Redskins and the Cowboys. If they got to the 4th one, I think they could have won. They were up on the Cowboys in the last one. They could have been a two-time winner, 4-time. They would have. The legacy would have been better. It's a great team, but then for the community to go to 4 Super Bowls, where people on the outside think you lost 4 Super Bowls, I got to tell you, especially being grown up in a smaller market like that, it was incredible. And you get the level of fandom you get, and if you even watch some of the from the players from the teams, and we lost the last game of the season just like 31 other teams. So it's an appreciation, and the resilience that came from that Marv Levy spoke when he did the famous quote, "Fight on, my men," Sir Andrew said. "I'm a little bit hurt, but not yet slain. I'll lay down and bleed a while, and then I'll rise to fight again." So that's been the epitaph of the area too. Would that have changed? Would things have, but if he would have made that just 2 feet, could have been very, very different in the annals of the football dynasties.
All right. Fair enough. So again, kind of completing the round the horn. Now we know Scott Norwood missing that famous field goal. And then Kay Millie with a real kind of deep social look on things with what if Colin Kaepernick had not kneeled. So now let me set up the clock for the rebuttals. Got 1 minute. And let's start it off with you, Mr. Goodman, to my left.
Okay.
All right, you ready? I'm starting the clock.
Yep.
1 minute.
All right. So if Kaepernick never kneeled, that's a tough one. If he never kneeled, someone else, I think, like Malcolm Jenkins would have. Seles being stabbed. Okay, she wins some more. Oh, by the way, JD did math. Yes. Nord misses the kick. I could completely agree. He wasn't going to win anymore. The Cowboys were great. The Redskins were great. And I agree. Going to 4 and losing 4 makes them more of a special team than if they had won 1. Ali being not suspended, what made Ali great was that he was sort of the villain to a certain amount of people. Not that he's one of the greatest people ever. I think that made him fight more, and that's what made him even better. Why is mine the best? Because basketball would have changed. College football would have changed. Football would have changed. America would have changed. And for that, if I can figure out how to do this, I'm going to say,
ding, ding,
boom.
Ding, ding, ding.
Oh, wow.
If he dies, he dies.
I must break you. All right, fair enough. Fair enough.
That's a knockout.
Yeah, let's throw it to you, K. Millie. Let's see what you got on the rebuttal tip, homie, because we gotta bring Goodman back down in size here.
Not a problem. We'll start right with Dave. So that probably never would have happened with him going to Miami. It doesn't change anything in the course of history. That was kind of a weak deal, but I'm just gonna leave that alone. We're gonna go right on to you with the stabbing. I don't know if that would have really made a difference. I mean, it's not like an ice skate to the back of the leg or something of that nature, but it's close. It's close. Now, with the Bills, I used to watch those guys, and I think it was Thurman Thomas was the running back at the time, and they got there, and they just. I just don't think it was ever in the cards for them to do it, and I think that they became more famous for losing those and being that team that went that many times. I think that it would not have been a dynasty at all. I think they would have probably got one out of that, and then everybody would have been traded away. As far as the Muhammad Ali situation, now you have the catalyst to the Nation of Islam movement at the time, I believe, when he gets suspended and things going on in Vietnam and all of these different social issues, similar to what I was talking about. So career-wise, if he doesn't sit down, I think he goes on to be the greatest ever pound for pound fighter, things of that nature. Since he had to sit down, we end up where it's at, and then we bring it right back to Colin Kaepernick, that apparently changed the world, as we see.
All right, decent. Can't be mad. I'll be mad in my rebuttal though. Danny Fairman, what do you got on the rebuttal tip, my man?
All right, everybody except for Kaepernick. If my uncle had tits, he'd be my aunt. So, what I want to do is talk about the off-sports effect. So, Ali was asked, "What if you didn't sacrifice the prime of your career?" And his response was, "I'd like to say to those of the press and those of the people who think that I lost so much by not taking this step, I'd like to say that I did not lose a thing up until this very moment. I haven't lost one thing. I've gained a lot. Number one, I gained peace of mind. And number two, I gained peace of heart." So in 1971, when they were appealing Ali's suspension, it went to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court for Muhammad Ali, right? And at the time, the vote was 5-3 against Ali.
10 seconds.
So there was a Justice John Marshall Harlan, right? His clerk asked him to take home the book, Elijah Muhammad's Message to the Black Man in America. Harlan returned the next day, changed his vote for a 4-4 split. The rest is history. The Supreme Court.
All right. Fair enough. All right.
Yeah, that's what I feel like right now.
Yeah. All right. I got to get in on these rebuttals because this is all junk. The one thing I will say, Kamau, a good call. But I have to agree with Dave. I think if he hadn't done it, somebody else would have done it. As far as Ali goes, I will give you that he would have broken the record probably for most successful defenses if we assume he hadn't lost in that period, and he probably wouldn't have. I know enough about boxing to know that. However, I still don't think it really changes anything in the arc of boxing history. It's like he might have still lost to Frazier in 71. He might, it's like at that point he was approaching 30, so I think he would have still had that period, but I don't think it changes much. I think the Bills thing, everyone knows the Bills stunk. Dave Goodman, it was so convoluted and crazy, I don't even know what he was talking about, so you can't vote for that.
Oh, you're so wrong.
Yeah. Monica Seles going from, she was a great tennis player to she's an all-time great. I think that means something in the pantheon of sports. So that's why I think you should vote for that.
Now you gotta believe me. I'm telling the truth here. I'm speaking to you.
Is he frozen or is he false?
It's like the fake frozen. It's like the slow motion walking.
Yeah.
Mannequin challenge on unsportsmanlike.
Yeah. All right, Mr. Caggiano, it's on you to close this thing out, man.
All right, I can't figure out if Tanya Hardin didn't smack the. I don't know what would happen there either. Too. How many gigawatts you got, David, in that Back to the Future time machine? You must have had the gigawatts because that's a lot. You got a lot. You need to get that lightning at that watchtower soon. But that's it.
88 miles an hour.
The thing about Ali is we missed some great as fans. We missed a great. What more Ali? We could have seen more Ali. Kaepernick. It did start and initiate something. I wish something would have been done sooner, but I think it really was a turning point, and he probably is in that lexicon of icons. So, but my boys with the Bills with winning that one, it would have been a nice little dynasty. So that's what I vote.
Don't mess with the bull, young man.
All right,
You'll get the horns.
folks. So now you've heard what this commission is talking about. Let's sum it up real quick again. What if Ali hadn't been forced to skip those 3 years from 67 to 70? What if Drew Brees had signed with the Miami Dolphins? What if Scott Norwood had made that kick? What if Colin Kaepernick had not kneeled? And mine, what if Monica Seles had not been stabbed? So now it's up to you fans to let us know what you think is the best what if of all time. And then also who from this panel of experts, you think made the most compelling argument. And of course, as you know, at the end of the season, we're gonna count up the points, and somebody's gonna be a winner and get a trophy, and then someone's gonna be a loser and have to stand out on a street corner holding a sign wearing a dress or something like that. You never know who it's gonna be, although I know it's not gonna be me. So let me give it up for this esteemed panel. My man, Mr. Danny Fairman, give him some love. David Goodman, the doctor of the master of useless knowledge, kablam. Keith Caggiano, Mr. Rockin' Products. K. Millie, the anthem, Kamau Talbot. And of course, I've been JD Butter. Until next week, when we'll be back at you with another fantastic episode of Unsportsmanlike Conduct. Peace.